Hello, this is Yogeshwar 7000 again, and I'm back with another interesting topic in Vedic astrology today. And this is in continuation to our series on nakshatras. Okay, so in our last video, we did discuss in detail about the 17th nakshatra, which is the Anuradha Nakshatra. In detail, we talked everything about it pretty much, all about Anuradha, as to what the general characteristics are people born in Anuradha Nakshatra, what's the distance. It spans a distance of 13 degrees and 20 minutes from 3 degrees and 20 minutes inside of Scorpio through 16 degrees and 40 minutes inside of Scorpio. So this nakshatra stayed inside Scorpio. It does not overlap or jump into another nakshatra. And we talked about, like always, we talked about what the animal symbol is and what does it represent, or what does it signify rather, what the ruling planet is, what is the symbol, and who's the presiding deity, positives, negatives, career interests, everything. So people who have not watched that, please refer to my earlier video. But this was pretty much what we discussed about Anuradha Nakshatra. And today we are going to be talking about the four padas, or four equal divisions of Anuradha Nakshatra. Okay, as we know that one nakshatra spans a distance of 13 degrees and 20 minutes, and it's further subdivided into four equal divisions, which is called, in Sanskrit the right pronunciation is pad, but for the Western world it's easier to say pada. So four padas of Anuradha Nakshatra we'll discuss today, and talk about how does it affect the person born in that particular nakshatra. So when we discuss the four padas, we'll pretty much discuss as to where the placement of moon is, because since nakshatra is considered a lunar mansion, in generic terms, we take into consideration where the placement of moon is, although all the 9 planets are placed in some nakshatra or the other. But the most impact is made where the moon is placed. So we generally talk about, and as per the ancient scriptures also, they talk about the placement of moon as to what the person is going to be influenced most. So people born in Anuradha Nakshatra will be people whose moon has been placed at the time of the birth between 3 degrees and 20 minutes of Scorpio through 16 degrees and 40 minutes of Scorpio. And these four padas will see where exactly which of these four divisions moon is placed, so that we can understand better about the characteristics and the career interests and positives and negatives in a better way, in a more detailed analysis can be done based on where the moon, which part of the moon is placed. So the first pada falls in the Leo Navamsha. And why I say Navamsha is because a Navamsha is also 3 degrees and 20 minutes. It's of zodiac signs, 9 parts of a zodiac sign, so you can relate it to a Navamsha as well. So the first pada falls in the Leo Navamsha for Anuradha Nakshatra, and Leo, as we know, it is ruled by the planet Sun. So what we can understand from this is the focus here is more on leadership qualities and applying that in their careers. Okay, and their pride is of utmost importance, and a very positive, a lot of energy because of the planet Sun. So this nakshatra is a nakshatra of successful people. So generally, they have the perseverance to blossom in the midst of life's problems, tribulations, trials. And as we discussed in the video which explained the Anuradha Nakshatra in general. But here, it's even more intense because of the intensity and power of the planet Sun and their leadership qualities. So they'll be very vigorous, they'll be also interested in spiritual ancient knowledge as well, because Sun is about the Vedas and knowledge as well, along with Jupiter. But they'll be more like leaders in whatever profession they choose to be in. When the planet Moon falls in the first pada, which is the Leo Navamsha, which is ruled by the planet planet Sun. Okay, so people who are great business leaders, or big management people who are kind of leaders in their field, you'll see a lot of people whose moon is sitting in the first para of Anuradha Nakshatra, in case they are Anuradha Nakshatra, of course. Okay, so that's the kind of characteristic people with the first para of Anuradha Nakshatra will be, or where moon's placement is in the first para of Anuradha Nakshatra. So the second para after Leo comes Virgo, as we know. So the second para, which is going to fall in the Virgo Navamsha, and we know that Virgo is ruled by Mercury. So here the qualities of Mercury are also going to come along with these qualities of perseverance, through shining in midst of all kinds of problems, and blossoming like a lotus in midst of the unclean waters sometimes. So, but then the focus here is Mercury. So you'll see, people who are good in constant learning, and intelligence is of prime importance there. So you may find here people who are professors, or who are in math. The subject math is also ruled by, and accounting also is ruled by Mercury. So you may find some CPAs or CAs coming in this category, which requires a lot of accounting skills, mathematical skills. Astrologers can come in this category. Good speakers, public speakers can come in this category. So it's about learning, and sometimes when it comes to business, you'll find some stockbrokers also coming in this particular, or you'll see some stockbrokers birth charts where moon is placed in the second para of Anuradha Nakshatra, who have seen the trials and tribulations of life and come up very, very strongly and very successfully. Stockbrokers are even businessmen, because Mercury is about business as well. Okay, and intelligence could be professors. So this is what you will see in a lot of people's chart whose moon falls in the second para of Anuradha Nakshatra. Now, after the second para, which is ruled by Mercury, or which is represented by the Virgo Navamsha, comes Libra, because Libra comes after Virgo. So the third para, or the Navamsha you can call it, falls in the Libra Navamsha. Okay, and Libra, we know that the ruler of Libra is Venus. So here the focus will be more on music, arts, because of the planet Venus. And sometimes, since Venus is also associated with the mantra science, as some people call it in the West, people who have their moon placed in the third para of Anuradha Nakshatra could be good in that. So some kind of an occult also could be characterized with this, but mostly arts, music, TV personalities, actors, actresses, because it's all about moon is the mind. So where the moon is placed, your mind is going to function in that direction much better. So you'll find some dancers, actors, singers, film stars, film actors, somebody associated with the Venus industry, music, arts, sculptures, beauty. All these areas are going to be of prime importance, where people's whose moon falls in the third para, which is the Libra Navamsha, which is ruled by the planet Venus. Okay, so and as we know that the ruler of the nakshatra is Saturn, so Saturn and Venus are good friends. So here you may find a lot of success related to a Saturn-Venus combination. A Saturn-Venus combination would be giving them a lot of success in the areas of arts as well. But of course, I will tell you, don't jump to a conclusion based on just nakshatras itself. Look at the whole birth chart. If these qualities or these characteristics or these traits are present in somebody's birth chart and he's not successful, don't jump to a conclusion that the nakshatra analysis is wrong. Nakshatra has to be studied along with the main birth chart as well. Okay, so this is just giving you some kind of an indication as to if you do an analysis. So it should be done in conjunction with the main birth chart and also through the nakshatra. So always remember that. The fourth pada falls in Scorpio Navamsha, which, as we know, that after Libra comes Scorpio. So the fourth pada or the fourth Navamsha will be the Scorpio Navamsha, which is again ruled by Mars. And we know that this zodiac sign, the Anuradha Nakshatra itself, falls in Scorpio. Okay, and the Navamsha itself is falling in Scorpio. So it's a double Scorpio impact here. Okay, so here we know that Scorpio is a water sign. Okay, we know that. So a lot of emotional intensity you'll see in people whose moon is placed in the fourth pada of Anuradha Nakshatra, because it's a planet moon which is ruling it, and moon is all about emotions anyways. We know that Scorpio is a water sign, so there's an impact there. And we also know that this entire nakshatra falls in the zodiac sign of Scorpio. Again, Scorpio. So Scorpio is about water sign, moon is placed there. The fourth pada also is Scorpio, which is water sign. So a lot of emotional intensity you'll see for people whose natal moon falls in the fourth pada of Anuradha Nakshatra. And of course, since Mars is involved here, and it's a double impact of Mars, then there's a strong energy will be felt by people here, okay, to achieve their goals, because Mars is about ambitions, and they'll be very, very aggressive because of the energy and the ambitions and the aggression they have. So you may find here people who could be interested in areas like the military, okay, or the police force or the military, something which requires a lot of energy, or sometimes even in corporates or any kind of a profession, you'll see these people having abundant energy, and because of that energy they will be able to achieve their goals in their respective fields, so as to say. Okay, but then of course, because of the intensity of the water sign and moon being placed there, they could sometimes be too emotional. The intensity of their emotions could be very strong, and the passion may be very strong. So it can move both ways. It can swing both ways if it just exceeds more than what it's required. So they can, be affected very, very easily through strong emotions of theirs, or their actions can be very, very either positively or negatively affected by the strong emotions involved here. So you'll have to see the whole chart and come to a conclusion based on what this person is all about. But this is what this fourth pada of Anuradha Nakshatra signifies. So people who want to choose careers where a lot of passionate emotional intensity is required, sometimes painters, that they want to, but then Venus is not there. But any kind of an area where they're passionate about, any kind of an area, it does not have to be a particular field. It could be any area where they're passionate about. So what you can recommend is people whose moon is falling in the fourth pada of Anuradha Nakshatra should follow their passions in whatever careers they choose, and they'll come out very successful. Okay, so hopefully you enjoyed this video on the four padas of Anuradha Nakshatra. So like I said, look at the main birth chart, and then look at the characteristics of the nakshatra itself, which we discussed about Anuradha in our last video, and then look at the padas to get into a finer detail as to what this person is all about, what the characteristics of this person is, what career interests will suit him best, and which way he should go. So like I said, hopefully you enjoyed this video, and meanwhile I will recommend subscribe to my channel and check out my website. There is a link below, and I will see you with an interesting topic in Vedic astrology in my next session very soon. Goodbye.